What is up, guys? You know what night it is. Actually, you don't because it's Thursday night and we're usually on Wednesday night, but it is off centered with Dustin, the artist formerly known as the personal finance dad, but currently known as sports card dad. And we have a very special guest who is one of our first friends of the hobby, definitely one of the first content creators here on YouTube that we befriended and started doing collaborations with. And then he just disappeared. He just like had a kid or something and then disappeared into the ether. So
like DB Cooper.
yeah.
You guys know the reference.
And for the 98% of you that don't know the reference, he's some guy that jumped out of a plane 80 years ago and people don't know what happened to him, correct?
Stole $200,000. Just it was an airplane heist where he was able to basically extract $200,000, jump out of the plane with a parachute. No one's ever solved it.
Okay.
That's Borys. We've solved it.
You learn something useless every day. Good to see you, Mike C. South Stands 303 is in the house. Prodigy card collector, great to see you as well. Very cool logo you got there. Crazy Kev is here as well. All right, it's gonna be a fun show, but there's a lot. There's a lot coming up in the next week. We have the national coming up. That's going to be big. We'll talk to Borys about that if he's planning to go. Obviously, you're going to be in attendance. And then, what card-related stuff has been going on in your life?
So as far as actual cards go, do I have this next to me? I've been buying some star basketball cards. Not Michael Jordan's, but like all the other stuff, the Larry Birds and the Magic Johnsons and the Kareems. Just digging into it, BGS graded. But honestly, like been saving for the national too. So, and also been going through cards, figuring out like, what can I live without so that I can bring that to trade nights. I'm actually going to go a day early so I can go to the Card Collector 2 trade night on Thursday. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm really excited.
All right. So what's the deal with the star cards now? Is it just because it was in the news and there's buzz around it? Because usually you're not a buzz type of collector.
I don't like to follow trends like that. A little bit though, a little bit. So what I typically do is like, there's a lot of hype around the Michael Jordan star rookie card. And so what typically happens is a lot of times something will get announced, PMG or whatever it is, and then you'll have kind of a trickle down effect where other things are kind of noticed. So a lot of times what I'll do is just dive into those sets, try to figure out kind of, what's stuff more on a lower end that I'm interested in, because I'm not buying six-figure Michael Jordan star rookies. But, I dug in a little bit on that set, and it's really the thing that's intriguing about that set. Now, granted, there are a lot of fakes, counterfeits, blah, 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 all that stuff. But if you can, I'm only buying BGS graded cards, which again, doesn't mean that none of the fake cards made it into a BGS holder, but it gives you a little bit of added, help with that. But if you look at 80s basketball cards compared to the tops and the Fleer stuff, it's, that's all mass produced type stuff, whereas the star cards are not, so that's where there's some intriguing, plays, if you will. But I'm just buying to hold, so I'm not interested in flipping, but I'm just looking at what are there price points I'm comfortable with. And I already liked 80s basketball and football cards, so it just kind of opened my eyes a little bit. I've done some research and I've dipped my toe in.
Gotcha. It's interesting because I was looking up on comp to see if I have any star cards, and I thought I did. Now for some reason I can't. Let me see here. Oh, okay. So I'm looking through here because I actually liked star a while ago when I saw like back in 2020, and I'm actually looking through a lot of these old cards that are just so I mean, Dwayne Wade second year, Bowman, Chrome, all this stuff that's kind of random. But I remember seeing Star a while ago and just kind of liking how plain it was, liking how simple it was. Yeah, 1990 to 91 Star Silver, 9091 Star Slam promos, Magic Johnson. All these, yes, Star Court Kings. I mean, some of these are hideous. But anyway, I won't go into that. But it's just interesting when you look at some of these older cards, how some of them can be so plain and old that they actually, you like them. Kind of like one of those ugly dogs that are just so ugly that they turn the corner and then they're cute again.
Yeah, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
That's right. That's right. Hobby Box. Oh,
what's up, Charles?
And then Hobby Box is actually Wait, what? What is going on? Are you commenting on? Oh, wait. There's another. Wait. Which one is you? I thought that was you. Which you have two accounts? The inappropriate Pikachu one, and this one. Which one is you? I guess we'll find out in a minute. What about?
I am so confused.
I'm confused as well.
Is this actually even Borys that we've got, or is this some kidnapper? Did we
get the imposter? Did we invite the imposter on instead of the real Borys?
I just went through an IG. I went through an IG account. It might have been the wrong one. It might have been Zaggy. Yes,
dude, it's incredible how many spam or imposter accounts there are. Jordan, great question. Brad, what happened to all those PSA 7 and 8 Brady base cards you got? Did you sell them somewhere? So what's interesting is that, for one, on my end, I want to thank Card Craze Eric for sending me this. This is pretty cool. Have you seen this before? These holders?
No, I have not. Wow, what is that?
So Card Craze, and this is not Card Case, sorry, not sponsored or anything. He just reached out to me. He asked if I could send me one and I can review it. And I mean, look, it's just a solid piece of steel,
so
aluminum,
is it like
something like that.
A massive OtterBox kind of thing?
Kind of. Yeah, it's definitely heavy. It's heavy, but it's like this is what you'd want to put one of your nicer cards in.
Yeah.
So there's a stand that comes with it. Not personalized.
That's actually not a bad idea, because I've got like my Jim Brown rookie card could probably use one of those.
And you see, like, it's a good kind of grain, good look. Honestly, I just want to say thank you for sending this to me. There's no sponsorship or affiliate or anything. It's just a really nice card case. So if you could check him out on Instagram, Cardkaze, CARDKAZE. See if you like his products, and then buy one if you like it. It's really cool. So thank you, Eric, for that. And then back to Jordan's comment right here. So I told you that the biggest card transaction I had was literally 90 minutes ago. So would you like to learn about it before?
That seems suspenseful. Why don't we go ahead and bring on Borys, just so he's on the show, and then we'll talk through it. Borys, do you have two accounts, or is this like is it you? Is this you or no? Dude, somebody grew a beard and just jumped on.
Yeah, pretty much. I have no idea who that other account is.
So congratulations. Are you saying that's not you as well?
No, I mean that picture might be in my camera roll, but that's not me.
Which one are you? Which one are you in this picture?
I don't know.
You gotta love the internet. You gotta love the internet.
The internet is undefeated. So what's up, man? Dude, we haven't spoken to you in what, like a year, something like that?
I don't know how long it's been. It's probably been. I mean, yeah.
I feel like we found Jimmy Hoffa. Dude, where have you? Where? The last time I saw you was at Dallas Card Show, May of last year. That was the last time I saw you. Granted, that was the first and the last time I met you in person. But yeah, that was the last time I saw you.
That was the last Dallas show I was able to go to. So definitely, having a kid in the picture kind of changes things up a little bit, and you have to kind of get used to that for a little while. And
do you regret the kid? Do you regret having a kid?
No. The kid is great. It's been really good. Especially with the kid, just like figuring things out. I've thought about rebranding several times, but
sports card dad would be perfect.
I was gonna say I keep coming up with lame names like Sports Cards Dad or the Personal Finance Dad.
Dude, Personal Finance Dad's open. It's open for now. It's open for now.
So I'm still on the lookout for my next
bearded
right?
Borys, the bearded card dad.
Yeah, there you go. I could be the comeback sports dad.
Yeah.
Well, you are coming back. You are coming.
Yeah,
you could just be a combination of everything, and then use the SEO to make sure that like you tap into everyone's name, and then you just regain all that lost momentum from the last year of being an adult.
But so you basically went through kind of like the Bruce Wayne. You went to another part, to where you learned kung fu and you learned martial arts, and then you've come back now, and you're ready to be, you're ready to come back. Right? Like, is that well, I guess first off, are you coming back? Is this like a hobby box coming back thing? Or is it more just like, hey, let's hang out?
Is this your press conference?
This is, I mean, there's rumors. I don't know about coming back per se. I mean, I'm still in the hobby. I still collect, and I still have things that I flip and send in for grading and things like that. I just don't make content anymore, just because of time restraints and things like that, and a lot of the things picking up my new career and things like that as well. So, and being a dad. So,
what's your new career?
I work I'm a Salesforce admin now. So, jumped into that really big, life move, and it's been really good. Actually, it's been honestly one of the best decisions ever. So, it helps me buy a lot more cards.
Good, man. Well, Salesforce, their HQ is in Tampa, correct? Or they have
I think
big office there or something?
Salesforce. Well, so the program, I mean, like Salesforce itself I think it's in California, actually. But I don't work for Salesforce. I just work in that program. So it's kind of like working, if you're I'm trying to think of what would be it's just a program that companies use,
Yeah. Companies all over the world use Salesforce.
Right. So you work for you can work for any company that utilizes Salesforce, the Salesforce platform.
Gotcha.
So,
all right. Well, that's boring. Let's move on to cards.
Yeah.
Brad, you would fail miserably as a Salesforce admin.
Yeah. It sounds good. It's either word. I'm like, no, admin or Salesforce. No. I like the word force. That's a cool word. Anyway, are you still playing music and singing?
Yeah, I do music. I sing. I do all that stuff, and yeah, that'll never be anything that I'll give up, any of those hobbies.
So what are you stayed in the hobby? How have you kind of pivoted that way? Are you doing things differently than you were a year ago? Or is it kind of the same sort of deal? I guess just go through that. What have you been up to?
Yeah. I would say like right now I'm kind of focused more on just what I like, which is football. So I do a lot of football collecting. I would say if I am doing any kind of like flipping, I don't look for those big margins anymore. You just take the 10% as it comes, or whatever that percentage is that comes. And whoa, your internet's still bad after all this time?
What'd you
I thought
do?
you were making the big bucks.
I don't know. I came off of Wi-Fi too. I'm just on data now, and then I've got no, because I logged into my Wi-Fi, which is I've never had problems with it. I've got like the fiber. Like I've got fiber. There shouldn't be an issue. So anyway, sorry. Go ahead. I lost you. I didn't. I lost time for about 20 seconds. I'm in the multiverse.
At Dustin's age, you have fiber cereal. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I mean, a lot of what I collect now is football. So obviously QBs and stuff like that. I've also dabbled with some of the let's see. I was into what is it called, MetaZoo for a little bit, but I've kind of dialed back on that as well. So
what happened with that? MetaZoo? Didn't that I heard that word so many times for 3 weeks straight, and then I haven't heard it once since. Is that about right?
I mean, it's still going on. It's just not. I kind of lost a little bit of interest in it. To be honest with you, I've got like the stuff that I want. I just look for like Kickstarter stuff and things like that, and that's about it now.
So not really focused on the flipping, but more just collect what you like, and then are you still going to shows and setting up?
It depends. No, right now, no. I don't set up anymore. It's more of just wheeling and dealing, like going up to.
I see your hands moving. I see your hands down there. Music. Borys is like, I'm going to be smooth. They can't see my hands. I see it.
Yeah. So I just go. I go up and do deals with people that are set up. So do a lot of moving around.
So, okay, well, let me answer Jordan's question real quick, because I think this will tie in nicely to where you guys are at going into the national. Do you plan on going to the national, Borys, or is that just too much of a trip right now? Not really worth it for you?
Yeah, right now it's too much of a trip.
Don't lead him, Brad. Don't lead him like that. Don't lead him like that. It's not worth it though. So you're not going, right? Don't lead him like that.
You're not.
He's still got time. Hey,
You're
just
not one of
drive up
those
the coast.
idiots that spends $2,000 to go to a card show and then has no money to buy cards.
Borys,
You're not one of those
Borys,
idiots, are you?
Drive up the coast and you can just ride with me. Just get to North Carolina, you can ride
Yeah,
with me
right.
up.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the baby's she's 8 months now, so this first year is just kind of a lot of doing the dad thing. So possibly next year, especially it definitely isn't wouldn't be my favorite year to go, that's for sure. I think next year would be a pretty good year to go.
Yeah, agreed. Because it can't be in Atlantic City, so that wherever it is next year, I'm a bigger fan of. But anyway, okay. So I want to answer Jordan's question though, because one of the biggest themes for me is these PSA returns. Have you gotten any PSA returns over the last year that were from 2020, 2021, Borys? Any
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, you mean the ones that destroy you? Yeah.
Yeah. So check this out. So I want to share this story, and I want to have them on in a future week. So anyway, this was my scenario. This is my dilemma for literally the last year. I don't like administrative work. I hate administrative work. I hate listing. I hate shipping. I hate everything to do with the process of selling because I just want it sold. Buying is easy. You can press.
I would say you don't like work. Just leave it at that.
Well, no. As long hey, if I can get paid to talk crap about Dustin on the internet and I get paid for it, it's work. I enjoy that. That is fun. Buying, like clicking a,
it has to be hard to be work though,
clicking a button on a computer to buy and to sell is easy. It's seamless. That's good. The work I like is up here, is doing the math, running the numbers, doing the pros and cons. The actual putting tape on it and printing a label and packaging it, I don't like that. So anyway, but especially when you have somewhere around 600 junk slabs, right? Because if you have 10 cards that are worth $2,000 each, there's not that many transactions. Each card is, all right, I can make $500 or 200 or 300. But when you're selling a card to make $9 and you're spending all your time packing and shipping for $9, you're like, oh, and then you get a return or you get a complaint, then it's like, whoa, what am I doing? So anyway, I knew that.
Yeah, but why don't you just send it off to ComC or send it off to four corners?
Finish.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Is there a happy ending to this, or is it just I'm still sitting here doing nothing?
Do you want to give me a happy ending, Dustin?
All right. No, I don't.
Should I put the picture up of Pikachu again? Okay, so check this out. So here's the thing, and there's an important learning lesson. All right, we all have to be aware of ourselves, what we like and what we don't like in the hobby, because there are people that love breaking, there are people that love collecting, there are people that love, well, what are you doing? There are people that love, let's not, I don't want that camera to go any lower.
Here comes the Pikachu picture. Oh God.
Okay, so look, I mean, some people love investing in vintage, some people modern, some people like content creation, some people whatever. For me, it was, I don't like grading. It was very tedious, and I don't like being inside, and I don't like anything selling. Like selling is just a pain in the butt. So if there's less cards, higher volume, or not higher volume, higher values, then you don't have to sell as many. You just need to sell one or two or three, and you'll get your margins or the amount back. But I had 600-ish of these cards, and I mean, some of them were Damian Lillard's second-year Prism, right? Mike Trout third year Topps base. Like these were cards where second year Mike Trout Topps was actually a pretty good card for a short period of time, and the third year didn't seem that bad when you were getting it for $1.50 or $2. So I sent all these cards away when it made sense, and of course a year and a half later it's like, what the hell, these cards are horrible. The one thing I did right was that all the players, every single person in there was a good athlete, was a Hall of Famer or future Hall of Famer. There's not a single player that was, an unproven rookie or unproven player. So I have all these cards, and I'm wondering, what do I do with it? Because I will never sell it individually. It's not worth the time or effort. So what I did is I contacted Whatnot, and I said, I had a contact over there at Whatnot and said, I have all these cards. I don't want to personally sell them, but I know that Whatnot sellers are doing really well. A lot of them are making good margins, and they're doing so much volume that they might want this inventory. All I want to do is break even and leave as much meat on the bone for them as possible, because if they sell it individually or the way that they're doing it, they could probably make a little profit. Now, I would want to help them out by shouting them out, by working with them in some way so that it's worth their time, because it's not going to make a lot of money. But
So
I know
who did you end up going with?
So I emailed Whatnot this. Shout
There we
out
go.
to Eliza. So Elijah, who responded and set me up with Greg and his friend Greg, who are LA Collectibles. And they reached out to me. They said, "Hey, Brad, we just got this email. Do you want to chat?" I chatted with them last week, and I said, "Hey, this is my situation. I'm too lazy to list these cards. They're just going
At
to
least
sit
you were
there."
honest. You were honest.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, it just. I'm not going to list these cards. It's not worth my time or energy. I need to sell them all at once. And if I go to Burbank, they'll probably take, a very small amount, or I'll probably get a very small amount versus what I believe I could get if I sold them individually. Maybe someone else is willing to do it. So I contacted them. They were like, "Hey, we do a lot of volume. We do these interesting type of like setups, or these, they'd have to explain it, different than most sellers. And we need inventory. We have high-end stuff, we have middle end, but we could use more low-end stuff. So how about we come over, we see what you got, and we work out a deal." And so they came over a couple hours ago, and I basically said, "Look, some cards, you got PSA 7 Michael Jordan animation. That animation card, that kind of cartoon card. You have Mike Trout 30-year card. You have some crappy ones, but then you also have first-year select Tom Brady PSA 9s and 10s, which maybe it's $60, maybe it's $150. There's a couple that will really pull the weight." And they just said, "Well, what's break even? What would you like?" And I ended up selling all of them for $14 per card, which I think I may have lost and I plucked a couple good ones. They allowed me to pluck like the Kobe Bryant Crusade, Dak Prescott Prism, PSA 9, a couple.
Did you give him, wait. Did you give him the first year select Tom Brady PSA 10 for $14?
Say that one more time.
The first year select PSA 10 Tom Brady was $14.
So that's my cost. Basically, my cost was about $15 a card, 16 a card. So some cards I got for like $1. What I paid raw was about $3 per card on average, with a few exceptions. But I sold them everything for $8,000. But that to me was probably about, maybe I lost 500 to 1,000 total without doing any work. And I plucked a Kobe Bryant Crusade. So this one I plucked from a submission. So hopefully I'll get like $500 for that at some point. I got a couple others that they're like, "Yeah, just take a couple others. We'd rather just, build a relationship."
So they got some good deals on like the Brady stuff probably, but then they also took PSA 7s of shit,
they took way more bad, and maybe 10% was pretty good, and then 40%'s bad, and then a lot of the other stuff is $20 to $30 cards, maybe 35, 40, but there are a lot of 7s and 8s in there. And they were even saying, "Look, we're going to be giving away a lot of the 5, 6, 7s and 8s, like maybe the 9s and 10s we sell. The rest of them we'll just use as giveaways for our audience, and we're just building our brand and our reputation right now. So if we can make a little tiny margin but help you out, and and we can get a shout out or something, we'll do it." And to me, I'm like, "Hey, absolutely. That's a win-win. That's offering value in a way that's not just the transaction." And so the point for me was just, there's different ways of offering value. Like, my problem of wanting to get rid of this was was what they needed, which is more inventory and a way to grow their brand.
Whatnot's a volume game, and so I get it. Borys, Brad has $8,000. Brad has $8,000 now to infuse back into the hobby. What would be your? Obviously, you don't have to get like specific on cards if you don't want to, but like, you have $8,000. Could be short term, could be long term. Like, what do you think? Where should he go? Where should he look?
You're the expert. Let me know, please.
Yeah. Well, I'm by far no expert, but I mean, honestly, I would say that now it's more about the quantity than the quality. I would be looking at.
So I should ask for a refund.
Well, I basically would be looking for something like a quarterback for sure. I think something that's a little more on a rare side is what you can get. I would look for like one thing. I mean, really, what I've realized is if you buy something that has a low population count, and even if it's that one item, it might take you a little bit longer to find the buyer. But when you find that buyer, there's not as much on the market for them to kind of choose from. So you're able to kind of name your price on that. And then, you find someone.
I think Borys just watched our interview with Coleman. He's just regurgitating it.
No, I didn't, honestly. But no, that's just kind of.
No, that was Borys's other account that watched with the Wiener Pokemon thing. Whatever, like,
yeah,
that was the other
excited for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I would be doing. I mean, that's right now the football market I would say is the hottest for sure, which makes me happy because that's kind of I did a lot of basketball, but like I'm like way more ingrained in football like year round, as far as like prospects and who's good and things like that.
So on that note, Borys, are you QB only, or are you doing receivers and running backs and that sort of stuff too? Prisms, like that sort of stuff. What are you just sticking to quarterbacks?
If we're talking modern, it's just quarterbacks. If we're talking,
Borys, is this your other personality? What is going on here?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But obviously the legends, you definitely wide receivers and running backs. You can't really off put that stuff. I think vintage is going to be having a run here soon as well. So a lot of people are kind of turning more towards vintage as well, from what I've seen. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's what I would do if I was going to put money into it. I have tons of quarterback stuff, RPAs and autos and things like that.
Cool. I did want to bring this up. Hockey 99. The reason why I wasn't buying more cards is because I had this allotment of money in it. I had like reached my budget. So not selling these cards was the reason why I wasn't buying more. It was one of those, like, when I clear out, I will buy more, because I didn't want to add more to the inventory and let it pile up. I wanted to be more methodical and just disciplined with my approach. Yet at the same time, I just didn't move the cards, so I didn't buy any. So now that the important part with it is now I feel like I can buy more, $8,000 more, versus just sit on the sideline and wait for me to move them, but yet not take action on it. So the one question I had when you mentioned football's hot, is that because you're in Tampa and Tampa's just such a football town? Because Tampa, living in Tampa, it is Buccaneers first and foremost, and it is football. So I don't know if that's just something that you're noticing more of in Tampa, or if you're seeing that at other shows.
And to piggyback off that question, are you big on Brady cards, just being that you're a Bucs fan, as part of all that?
And whatever this Borys says, please, other Borys, in the comment section, please let us know the truth if he's not telling the truth.
Next week on Off Centered, it'll be other Borys.
I mean, I would say that overall, I think that seems like the more market trend to me is football. Not really a Tampa thing. Basketball kind of like really cooled down a lot. I think people were just kind of, it got overhyped, and I don't know. There was just a lot of, I think the bubble really had a lot to do with how much basketball blew up, because it was like right in the middle of the pandemic and we had the bubble. And so basketball cards were just like, going nuts. But I think football, man, there's just something about football for me, at least. It's people hitting
Pikachu?
People, man. You know what I'm saying?
Pikachu cards? Pokemon Pikachu cards?
I don't have any more Pikachu cards, that's for sure.
No, you have one.
No, I can show you some of the stuff I have, but
well, let's see.
I have one Pikachu card.
Is that the one you used for the picture?
For sure. Yeah. I had to zoom in really, really good. Extra. But yeah. But yeah, if you want to see some cards, I can tell you what I got. But
what do you have in front of you? Hold it up.
How do you feel about Dak Prescott? I feel that was a guy that you liked in the past. Are you still, because annually I feel like Dak is always kind of, there's always so much hope for Dak, going into each season.
Yeah. Man, I think Dax is he's definitely underrated still, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to be worth the pickup this year. I just don't see them taking a huge step forward. I think they'll be, honestly, I see like in that division, I feel like the Eagles are going to take more of a step forward, and if they don't, then then it just falls on Hurts, and then we can all just say he's a terrible quarterback. I mean, he's been showing glimpses of not really being that great, but with the offensive weapons around them, I feel like they have all the opportunity. And I'm just not really sold on picking up like Dak this year or anything like that.
So, okay, who are you really liking? Because you obviously follow football the closest. I haven't really followed except for the Buccaneers, the only team that matters, as you know. But besides the Buccaneers, who will be relevant and should be a contender, who are you really liking?
So I think sneaky pickups this year. I'll tell you, I think Jameis Winston is a sneaky pickup.
I knew you were going to say that, man. I was about to jokingly say it, and you're smart. You got ahead of it. And by the way, I don't have any Jameis cards, but I know that I'm going to look back and be like, damn it, I should have got some Jameis cards.
Woo. There you go. I got a Jameis right there.
There you go.
Auto.
Moments before throwing a pick six, you could just see it in his eyes. I could see his eyes looking right at the safety.
The Saints have a good overall team, though. That's the thing.
I think the thing about the Saints is defensively they're great. Offensively, you've got Michael Thomas coming back. They picked up Jarvis Landry. They've got that new guy.
And then we drafted
Olave, Chris Olave. I don't know what the situation with Alvin Kamara is, but really in that division, they have a shot. I think of being, especially even with the Bucs, man. I mean, I love the Bucs, but there's some questions there for sure, and that's always been like the Bucs' kryptonite. So
I will say one thing real quick. In one of those submissions that I got back, I got a Rob Gronkowski refractor Topps Chrome rookie card. It was a PSA 9, which a 10 would have been massive. But I'm really happy about that card just because it's beautiful. Do you think he comes back this year at any point?
Man, it's tough to say. It's tough to say.
They just signed Kyle Rudolph as well.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he is, because I think he said today again that he wasn't going to. It sucks because he's definitely a end zone monster for Brady. That's for sure. But he's my favorite. I'm thinking Jameis again. Sorry. I definitely got it in my boat to pick up some Brady this year. But that'll be probably towards the end. I was picking up Trey Lance was stupid low. People are still kind of doubting that he's going to be the starter, but he's 100% going to be the starter. So I picked up some Trey Lance stuff. I've got his auto. I'm not saying he's anything fantastic, but San Francisco people, California people love their teams. So
what do you expect from the market, the football market this year versus prior? Because it's just an interesting time with cards, interesting time in the economy. Are you just, hey, do you think any other player or any other position will see movement besides the QB, a bit of wide receiver, a bit of running back? Do you think any themes will emerge football season with cards? Like anything that's different than the past?
Well, different than the past, yeah. I mean, the only thing that's going to matter this year is quarterbacks. Like nobody, I think, like I said, I think if you're looking at wide receivers and running backs, and you can not. I'm not saying that you can't make any kind of money on the quick flips if that's what you're talking about. Like doing, what's it called? What are they called again? I don't do it that often. You do it a lot.
Selling cards, flipping.
Well,
talking, brushing your teeth.
You do that a lot.
Combing your hair.
Stroking
your beard.
On mine, where you're selling your cards. You do more of that.
Whatnot? Star stock? I don't know. Comp C?
Star stock and stuff like that. Star stock and Comp C.
It's been a long time, man, that we've talked. I haven't done that in a long time.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Comp C, it's more just on there, and I'll get the occasional sale, but I don't go and update prices. I haven't bought many things on Comp C in a long time because, again, it's just I've spent so much time in front of a screen over quarantine that I'm trying to compensate and just be out in the world and not look at a screen, especially for small numbers, right? It's a very small number platform, so it's not like, and it's not as active as before. So
yeah.
Yeah. And StarStock, I don't even know if they're in business. Like I don't know where StarStock has been at. I know they went to NFTs and they tried pivoting so many times. I have no idea. If y'all have if you guys have an idea of what StarStock is up to now, what their latest thing is, or what they're doing, please let us know. Because I mean, they just got in and they went after the demographic that like.
If you can send Brad which companies are still in business in the sports card hobby, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Speaking of which,
what are you like, Rip Van Winkle? You just woke up after 20 years, like, are we still doing cards?
Look, I want to ask, with all the news that we've seen over the last year, like, what's your take on Fanatic? What's your take on the platforms of the grading? Because we haven't spoken about this with you since I guess a year or so ago. So, what news surprised you the most? What are you most excited about? Something like that.
I mean, I've seen PSA like really ramping up. I do a lot of work with some of the graders and stuff like that. So it's really good to see that stuff coming in. There is a little bit of oversaturation, I think, with graded cards as well. So, my thought process on where everything is at right now, I think it's definitely hard times. I never dip, man. I just don't make content. I don't want to. Here's the deal about that is like, if I don't have anything to add to the conversation, then why am I going to make a video about it? You know what I mean?
I tell Dustin that all the time.
I've always got something to add.
Hey guys, I'm just here to start the conversation. Click subscribe and like.
Yeah, I mean, when my content was a lot of, my content was a lot of seeing where value was and trying to flip and make money on certain things and quick flips and stuff like that. And I just think that right now, people really can't speak too well on that because it's just a crazy market right now. You know what I mean? And so if I don't have something, I'm not going to tell people to go invest in somebody or anything like that right now because or even pretend to know what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Well, it's the same thing with me though. Like a lot of the content was investor based. Yeah, and I mean, I like ripping on Dustin. He does have great insight, great content. Yeah, I still have to make fun of him somehow, but dude, I'm in the same boat though. Like our content was based on charts, based on numbers, based on where things are going and the movement of cards and the trends, less of the just collector and this set speaks to me or just general news or things like that. So when that part of the hobby changes drastically or pretty much dries up in many ways, your content either has to change or you don't make it you don't make it anymore. Yeah.
I think that's kind of, for me, having a baby and things like that. My priorities are just a little bit different right now. And, that's just kind of where it is what it is, man.
Do you feel like you'll start making content again?
Probably not about sports cards right now, to be honest with you. I just don't think that, I like collecting and I like being in the hobby. I mean, these kind of things, I'm always down for these kind of things, here and there. But just for the overall, like, you guys know how much time. Well, Dustin doesn't know, but you know how much time goes into making these videos, and like, but Dustin makes those things every day. I don't know how the heck he did that. But when I put stuff out, I like it to be, pretty good quality. It wasn't great. I'm by no means like a videographer or anything like that. But for me, it's just it was just too much time, for having a kid and a new career and things like that.
Yeah, I'll answer Ziggy a little bit here. I always position myself never an expert on sports cards or any of it. I always positioned it as I am returning and this is kind of my journey, and I'm going to kind of talk my way through my journey. And so, that's the way I've always positioned it. Whereas I think others maybe have kind of tried to be an expert on this. And the reality is we had kind of a black swan event in cards over the last couple of years. So, I even push back on the whole idea of I hear it all the time now from a lot of podcasts and everything else about, oh, there's ups and downs, and there's always been ups and downs. Not really like this, though. This was a massive boom that happened in 2020, 2021, really 2019 to 2021. You could really go back to maybe 2016 as kind of the start. But in reality, it's not like you go back to other times where you're like, oh, here's a similar boom that was like 2020. You just don't see it. Right. If you look at historical data, so I've always just tried to, I'm the average dude that makes videos, and it was very obvious I was the average dude. I was literally in like my basement with nothing on the back wall or whatever, and just making videos with my iPhone. So yeah, I feel pretty good about the way that I positioned it.
Yeah, I'm kind of sorry. I like to jump in things like really hardcore. And, like I said, I've always collected cards, but in that 2020 boom, I jumped into like more of like the studying and figuring out what was next and the looking at the details of recognizing patterns and buying and things like that. And so for me, I kind of get caught up in that stuff. And then certain things come along, kind of grab my attention, and I get pulled in that direction for a while. But I still have like this hand that I like doing, still flipping and things like that. So I've got tons of cards. I just don't, the content piece of it. I just don't have a passion for the content piece right now. That's all. I love cards, love the hobby. Yeah, so if I'm going to bring subpar content, there's no reason for me to be out there.
I tell Dustin that the same all the time too. Damn, I ruined it. But anyway, and similar sentiments for me too, though. It's like all I could make content on is what I was doing and what I was learning and what I was getting right and what I was getting wrong, and that's it. And my thoughts and my reasoning, and that's it. It's like, I bought this. This is the amount I paid. I think I could sell it for more. Let's see if it happens. No, it didn't happen. This I forgot to package this right. I have to refund this guy. This excites me for this reason. Who knows if I'm right or wrong, but that's all I could say because I didn't have 10 years of experience or 20 years or whatever. So I had to just offer what I was learning that day, that week, and pass it on. But I also feel really good. And even in the card life community that I run now, I love things that are more empowering. And so pushing the education side is something that I'll always want for anything. Cards, not cards, anything, because education is empowering. If you can learn how to think for yourself and act, then take that and run with it. That's way better than let me think for you. And then you get mad at me because, I said this is going to be the answer. You didn't do anything on your own. And then you just took someone's advice or my advice. And then, you're upset now because it didn't work out.
Well, and to be fair, too, collectibles are a fickle beast. Like no one knows what's going to happen or any of that. But I also would push back against even people that have been in for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years to comment on, the last 2 years. And I think Dr. Beckett actually was pretty honest when he said, like, hey, look, we're in uncharted waters here. And he was one of the only ones to really kind of say that, of like, hey, look, like there's no expert in this thing. Like we're in kind of a weird space. And now again, we're in another kind of weird economic environment. So, it is what it is. That's why it's like getting on and trying to talk about here's this or that or this, whatever. It's like there's just not enough. There's not enough historical long-term data to really, nobody is an expert in this space. They might be experts on certain sets, on certain cards over time, important cards in the hobby. But even the important cards, if you look at some of the important cards, they just have a narrative built around them by a small number of people. So we also have to be kind of mindful of that as well. I don't know. It's interesting. Collectibles is one of and that's why it's fun because it's kind of in essence, it's a wild west of this, this whole industry / market.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right on the money. And I think the other thing too is just like the way that things have been, in my opinion, like and anybody watching this is like, just be like, for me, I'm being very, very careful about how I'm spending my money. I'm being, especially in this kind of economy. We just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And there's a lot of idiotic things that are going on. And so I'm very, very careful about where I put my money and making sure that I have enough to sustain my family. And that's kind of, the biggest thing for me right now. and providing for them. And cards are fun and things like that. And like I said, I still have my collection and things like that. But for me, I'm, leveling up in my career and getting to a place where I'm taking care of my health and things like that as well has been like a huge thing for me that I would not have been able to do if I was still doing videos. So, yeah, man.
Good for you. And I think the cool thing is that like there's so many facets in the hobby, and there's always reasons to come back and pivot the focus, because maybe there's a point where you're just like, look, career's going really well, and I'd like to just enter a break every week because that would be the fun that I want. That'll be my gambling money. And then you just enter a break and that's your thing. Or other times you're like, wow, I have a lot of time. I actually want to just buy a lot of raw cards and grade. Or there's a lot of time I just want to put something out on YouTube again and do mail days and do like different stuff like that. And so, yeah, I mean, like the intrigue for me right now is going from all the small end flipping, all that stuff, which flipping, it's a way different market. And I'm not going to go to shows and do all this stuff and put up 100K, 150K just to buy inventory to start rolling that snowball. But instead, I like where the hobby's going from a macro level. I like the media side and what Fanatics can do in the hobby, as well as what they could bring that's not already there. Like, to me, that excites me a lot more. And if I could be a part of what Fanatics is doing in terms of bringing celebrity cards or artists and actors or all these non-sports cards that I feel are underserved, to me, that interests me way more. So my focus is shifting as well, but at the same time, the hobby is still this fun thing that brings out our inner child.
Yeah, and I think that 2020, although it was a black swan event where there's a lot of money flowing in and whatever, I do think that there's long-term viability for it. I think there's a lot of people that are around our age that will continue on, and then there will be another, in 20 years. If you look at all the, I know that there's talk about this, but when you look at the teenagers that have Pelican cases with 6 figures of cards in it, or whatever, those are all people that are going to be nostalgic in 20 years, 25 years. It's just it's a cycle. That part will continue on. I think the whole, card cycle of nostalgia and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What would you,
what's your favorite card you got right now? If I can ask.
Me or Brad?
Either one of you.
I mean, I think the card that I like the most, because I don't have any great, amazing cards, but this one I like because it was also the journey of finding it. This was the card that I discovered on CompC. I thought it looked special because I see the Kobe Bryant murals all over LA. And this was a $6 to $10 card raw that I bought a lot of. I believed in it. I saw it as special, and I got a lot of them graded. And I think the highest one I sold for was $1,200, which is insane. That was the peak. The $1,200, and then another one for $1,000, another one for $800. But to turn $20 into $800 or $1,000 or $1,200, and it from a card that I really like to look at, to me, that's it. But at the same time, if this was autographed, if there was a rare version, if it was numbered, it would be better. But I never got up to that level where I was dropping thousands of dollars per card. I think the most I spent was about $1,400, I think. And that was like, holy crap. And that was, I think, a Hakeem Olajuwon Fleer 9, which is, at the time looked good, but then, life happened.
This is one of my favorites. I've had it for a while, but it's a quad. It's exquisite, numbered 9 out of 10, which is Borys' jersey number. But it's got Robert Meacham and Antonio Pittman on the back, which don't really care about them as much, but kind of just a cool like quad patch on-card auto for all 4. And it's from 2008. And so it's kind of right before they won the Super Bowl. Marcus Colston, one of my all-time favorites, the Quiet Storm, just a receiver that, crushed but didn't talk a whole lot, so I would say it's one of my all-time favorites. It's not a new pickup. I picked it up maybe a year and a half ago, but it was important.
I mean, I've got a couple of like great, like my favorite pickups of late. Let's see, bro, you gotta love I think this guy has a great future for sure. Joey B. Joe Burrow, that's purple, number 175.
Nice.
So I really like that. This is something I probably plan on holding on to for a little bit. And then I love this guy because he just doesn't take no for an answer. So
Deshaun Watson. Who's that? Deshaun Watson?
He doesn't take no for. I thought it was Russell Wilson, and I'm like, he's probably gonna have a pretty good year.
Deshaun Watson. For
I'm just
sure.
kidding. All jokes aside, innocent until proven guilty. But
who
quarterback wise, man, is great.
Who was it? I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was Deshaun Watson.
Oh, it was. Oh,
yeah.
I had no idea it was Deshaun. I thought that was just a joke. Oh wow.
No, it's a auto patch to 25.
Which, by the way, Josh Rosen just signed with the Browns. So I'm trying to find I've got a handful of Rosen autos I bought 2 years ago that I need to probably get on eBay immediately.
I bought some Prism base Rosens on CompC for probably $7 each. I want to list those for anything. Anything that'll sell.
Yeah, this guy too, man. He's got a lot of same kind of tenacity. So
oh man,
there was another Deshaun.
Dude, hey,
anyway.
to be fair, so are you investing a lot in Deshaun, or did you invest a lot in Deshaun?
I did, yeah. I had a couple of rookie patch autos that I had picked up of his, but to be fair, he's a great quarterback. We'll see what happens. Well,
dude, hey, to be fair, that was my riskiest gamble. I think I spent about $5,000, invested $5,000 or so on Deshaun Watson after the news broke that he was being accused, 23 women or whatever, of sexual harassment.
That's when you spent the money?
Well, when the news was out, because the cards tanked in price, and it was so all over the news. And the way the news usually is it's so overboard. And then a week later, they're onto something else. And I just thought, well, I think this is an overreaction. I think there'll be a settlement. I think there'll still be a trade. Whatever, everything else. And then I sold. And then the cards continued to dip, which just sucked, because like when the card market went down, it wasn't a short drop. It was just like a year, like a long time of the cards dropping. And it wasn't just this, okay, this is the 2-month span where cards drop and then they go up. It was just continuously down. And so I just watched them go down more and more. And I'm like, man, like what's going on? And then when it was announced that he signed the contract with the Browns and it was guaranteed for like $250 million, all guaranteed, I was like, yes, this is my window. I sold it all. I think some cards I made $100 on, some cards I lost $100 on, but it may have been break even or close to breaking. I mean, I was thrilled that it was close to break even for all of those cards for such a high risk player who still could be suspended and all that. So I was able to get out. But to me, that was more just looking at the market as I think people are overreacting because it looks really bad. But I think it's not going to be as bad as it seems. We still don't know. Maybe he will be suspended for a year.
If he plays, that team is going to be good.
Dude, the craziest thing, when Deshaun Watson signed that contract, I said, I think on a live stream, I said, I want a rookie card of his agent, because his agent is the man. He got a $250 million contract, all guaranteed after all of that and being out. So he benefited from not playing. Like if he played and was only good and not great, or only good, like real good, but not great, he probably wouldn't have gotten that big of a contract. So he benefited from not playing. So I was like, dude, I have no idea what this agent is, what his superpower is, but the ability to get that contract is insane.
1,000%.
I'm just glad the Saints didn't get him. They were in the mix. I think it was down to like the Browns, the Saints, and maybe the Falcons with Matt Ryan.
Falcons, yeah. Yep.
I was like, oh man. But dodged that one.
So let me ask you, Borys, what would you like to see in the hobby in the next 6 months or year? What's something that you'd love to just see happen?
I mean, honestly, I just would like to see. I mean, what's going on right now is stability. To be honest with you, I think it's getting back to that place where there's more stability, where you pick things up, and you're basing that off of like performance and what do you think is going to happen, and you can make those bets and buy into something that you like, keep it long term, and it's not this like really just wonky like
Willy Wonka.
Here comes like this this really wonky, like, influx of money towards a person, and then it just drops off. Like, you know what I mean? I'd like to see that a little more stability for sure.
What do you think Fanatics is going to do when they take over?
Honestly, I have no idea. I have no expectations. I really don't know.
There we go. More hot women in the hobby. Thank you. I don't know how that would happen, but I'm whatever would make that work would be great. Do you think Fanatics will take over when they're supposed to? Or do you think they're going to acquire Panini or somehow get the rights earlier than 2024, 2025? Is that correct for the rights?
You tell me.
Unless they can buy Panini, I think that obviously that would speed it up.
Yeah. I'm just kind of waiting it out and see what's going to happen. I really don't know. There's a lot of, crazy stuff going on, especially with the way the economy is going and things like that. I mean, when they were picking up, these rights and things like that, the card market was insane. So somebody's going to end up, I think, losing out a little bit in some ways of some factors. I think I would really love to see like the card prices, the base card prices kind of come back down, and having these hobby boxes selling at extremely crazy prices still is just kind of silly to me in some cases, I mean, they're selling for almost the 2020 prices still, maybe not that high, but still can be a little ridiculous. That's for sure.
Yeah. No clue how that can be sustainable, because now there's more parallels, more cards, less certainty in the economy, all these other things. So we'll see, man. Any bold predictions for the rest of the year? Sports or in cards? Come on, Borys, give me something.
Me or I don't.
I talk to Dustin way too often. I haven't talked to you in a year.
Mine's easy. The Saints are going to shock the world this year. All right, go ahead.
You say that every week.
I'm a believer. Go ahead, Borys.
Give us a bold prediction. Something exciting.
Bold prediction. Man, you got to like tell me these things like, hey, tonight ask for a bold prediction. And then I can be like, all right.
Okay.
Let me think.
Well, he didn't get the StreamYard link to you until 3 minutes till. So
Dustin usually does the admin work. Dustin, I told you I don't like doing admin work. Dustin usually does that stuff.
Brad's meditating for 9 hours a day, sleeping for another 9.
I was levitating 4 feet in the air, and then I get this text from Dustin. I fall on my face. I'm like, what, Dustin? So, all right, bold prediction. So with Fanatics, PSA, eBay, a platform, a scandal, Golden, Panini, something.
Jesus, Brad, you do, or Dustin, you do one first, and then I'll think. Give me a minute.
Dustin is going to be Jameis Winston wins MVP, and the Saints go undefeated or something.
Well, not undefeated, but I think the Saints are going to be really, really good. But yeah,
I think a bold prediction. Okay, let's go with the Chiefs don't make the playoffs.
Let me ask chat too. Sorry, Borys, to butt in. So I'm going to be looking to pick up a few different cards. Should I have a few drinks leading up to these trades and maybe like throw that in on a vlog or something? Would that be something that people want to see?
Probably not.
Throw it in there. Well, and to be frank, I'm going to have a few drinks anyway.
Brad, are you not dating anymore, man? What's going on?
Dude, Hinge is pretty good, man. Like it's off and on. I have streaks. There's streaks of like, a couple dates in a week, and then there's nothing for a week or two. But right now, social
it was drying up once they walked in and saw the 600 slabs in the corner. They're like, whoa, holding on to these junk slabs, huh?
So how many?
You're not doing well on Grindr anymore?
Oh man, no, dude. Talking about fake accounts, I would not be surprised if my pictures have been used on a couple imposter accounts on Grindr, because the way I get looked at in some of the areas of town here, I'm like, ugh. Anyway, okay. My bold prediction would be Fanatics starts printing cards in early 2023. Like as in basketball, football. They take over, and then early 2023 they are printing. So and maybe it's Panini, but it's owned by Fanatics.
Yeah, that's very specific.
Thank
Mine was
you.
just a sports one. It was just like, I said mine. I don't know if you caught mine, but I just said that the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and Iconic Trading Cards is thinking you're smoking something, which most people in Florida are smoking something. So,
I don't
okay,
know.
man.
About, I mean, I just don't
What?
see it. I mean, you lose Tyreek Hill. I mean, last year they also lost what's his name, the Honey Badger, off their
He's
defense.
a saint.
He's a saint. Yeah, I just I mean, you look at the division. The Chargers are stacked. And he's walking into his third year. Or is it third year? Third? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be between them, and that's not an easy division by any means. But I think it's going to be between them and the Raiders. To be honest with you,
Who wins it all this year? In case we don't have you back on until this time next year.
man, that's a hard question to answer right now.
Just I mean, dude, you don't have to be right. It's just who do you feel right now?
I mean, it's kind of like when man, you know how like when you're young or whatever, and you go to the Bible camp and the answer is always Jesus.
So
I feel like the
Tom
answer
Brady.
for football is like Tom Brady. It's like you're gonna be right, like probably 75% of the time, 80% of the time, probably even more. But win it all, I would say. Geez, man, that is a great question. There's been so much like monumental movement that it's really, really hard to predict. But if I had to put money on something, I would probably say the Rams again.
Yeah. And
that'd be so boring. Oof.
You think the
sure.
Warriors will win again?
Do I think the Warriors will win again?
They repeat, yeah.
Man, they're pretty stacked.
Man, it's way, way too early. I mean, I really liked Boston and what Boston did. It's really, really early to make a call like that. It definitely won't be the Lakers, which I'm like stoked about that, honestly.
You
know what? I do like the Bills, man. To bring it up, the Bills for football, it's either for me, it could be the Rams repeating, but the Bills, man, they're really, really good. They're stepping it up every single year.
All right. Good shit. Anyway, it's been an hour. Borys, any final thoughts?
Right.
Or I got to pee, man. This is the longest I've lasted all day. So, Borys.
Heard that before, huh?
So that's not you that we've been bringing up. Apparently, that's an imposter or a super fan of yours. And your bold prediction is Chiefs won't make the playoffs. That's what you think. You are still in the hobby, but you're not sure if you're gonna be making content again. You're undecided, or are you sensing a little return?
Like I said, content wise, I don't see that happening. I mean, maybe like jumping in on things like this or like getting together with people. I mean, I love that. Like I said, right now it's a little slow for me. I'm just collecting and not really. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't have much to offer to the hobby right now, in my opinion. So that's kind of where I draw the line. I'm like really into, I'm really into my kid.
That's weird.
And yeah, I'm really, really enjoying that.
Is that what happens?
Yeah. Well, she's also like, I had a daughter. So basically I just like work out every single day and collect guns now. That's basically all I do. And so that's kind of like taking the cake on everything, is just training to like kill somebody in 16 years.
Cool. And what's the most underrated gun on the market?
I didn't think the show was going to wrap up like that. Interesting. Yeah.
So are you trading your cards for guns?
I mean, do you want to come home and find a dad like me? I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, I thought the beard would be scary enough.
Yeah. Well, I want to be as scary and terrifying as possible.
Just like that Pikachu was scared. That's how the boyfriends and your daughter's dates are gonna look. But it's gonna be your gun in the shadow, not anything inappropriate.
I've got lots of those. It's fun. I know California, you guys are not allowed to do any of that.
See, that's a gun. So. That's a gun.
That's an AK.
There it is. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you hopping on, Borys, and it's great to see you again after all this time. And glad you're doing well, and you have a healthy, happy kid and a great lifestyle, a new job, and you're still enjoying the hobby in a way that fits your lifestyle now.
For sure, yeah. Appreciate you guys having me. Appreciate everybody, the real ones out there that have been complimenting me throughout the show. I really appreciate it.
And this one too.
All the support.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We'll check in again, Borys, for sure. We'll have you back on.
For sure.
Yeah, man. I'm down. So
sounds good. And one more time, Card K's. Really cool product right here. If you didn't see it earlier, they sent me this. And so check out their Instagram, see if you like their products. They have different colors, not sponsored or anything, but just a cool product. I wanted to shout them out. So have a great night, guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.